Nothing is scary. Ghost stories, Halloween slashers, true crime, none of it seems to do it for me anymore. I remember the first time I watched Paranormal Activity. I was around 11 or 12. It really kept me up at night. I was checking over my shoulder. I couldn't even go down the hall to go to the bathroom at night because I was so terrified of what might be lurking in the dark. God, I miss that feeling. I watch horror movies nowadays or true scary stories videos on YouTube, and I crave that feeling. That petrified feeling, that looming weight of constant dread that I learned to carry like a warm blanket over my wide-awake, adrenaline-filled body. I've laid awake in fear for so many hours during countless sleepless nights that I've forgotten what a full night of rest feels like. I still lay awake in the dark at night. That feeling of sleeplessness, due to my brain screaming at my body to stay awake, has never left me. But what has faded is the fear. I've stared into the dark for so long that I know every corner, nook, and cranny of it. And it turns out I was wrong. There is no paranormal activity, no ghost, no monster, no one. Only me. That sixth sense, that intuition, that lingering question in the back of my head asking, am I being watched, has dissipated. I'm not being watched, and no horror movie or ghost story can convince me otherwise. So I lie awake, in the dark, alone. I've felt this fear so much that I'm desensitized to it, and I'm not entirely sure if fear ever enters my mind anymore, or if it enters my mind and my mental faculties are just so unfazed by its presence now that drowning it out and ignoring it is just muscle memory. And fear is so potent a chemical that my numbness to fear means numbness to almost everything else as well. Sadness, anxiety, pride, and anger don't even hold a candle to fear. And what would a shot of vodka do to a man who drinks 3 cases of whiskey every single night? I guess it is like an addiction in a way. Searching for a substance that can provide the same high of terror that I felt the first time I saw Paranormal Activity, or when I read Goosebumps as a kid, or when I listened to Ted the Caver. Creepypastas really used to do it for me for a while, in middle school and the beginning of high school. Now they're just silly for the most part, and there remains a hole that can't be filled, a bottomless pit that no rush of terror can even begin to fill. So I've turned my attention to the pit itself. What purpose does it serve? If nothing is lurking in the dark, does that mean nothing is the thing that lurks? Does the abyss stare back? I'm not sure if I would use the word addiction to describe the fear itself, actually. The addiction is probably more closely aligned to a failed attempt at a search. I feel that someone or something is watching me, and I peer out into the dark, and I see no one. Nothing. I'm not searching for fear, but I'm searching for a resolution. I want to find someone or something watching me. I want to look out into the night and see something peering at me from the distance. I want someone or something to be stalking my every move, peering at me through ghastly white lingering eyes from the shadows behind my closet door. I want to feel their presence underneath my bed, waiting to crawl out once I fall asleep so they can devour my unconscious body with a disgusting grin. I want to look over at my bedroom door and see the doorknob ever so slowly being turned from the outside before it creaks open to reveal the boil-covered flesh of the hand of a sickly demon looking for a fresh vessel to possess. Because then my search would be justified. A satisfying wave of relief would wash over me as resolution revealed itself. The hours, the nights, the years of lost sleep that I've sacrificed to fear, that I've fed for my whole life, that I've wagered on some half-baked idea that there really is something in the dark to be seen, to be discovered, to be feared, would not be for nothing. But it was all for nothing. I've been feeding my sleepless nights to nothing. I've worshipped nothing. On a near nightly basis, coming back to stare at it and serve it and pray to it and fetishize it like a fucking ritual that must be completed. Like an angry god that must be appeased before allowing his mortal disciples to shut their eyes, just so they can awaken and build up the energy throughout the day to be able to appease him once again the next night, and the next, and the next, and the next. It's actually, ironically, a terrifying thought, that there really is nothing in the dark, and I've been spending so much time and energy keeping my eyes peeled so I can find something that was never actually there. Worshipping a deity that turns out was never real. And every prayer actually went unheard, every sacrifice just a waste of precious resources. I could have been sleeping all of those nights. Religion is not just a set of ritualistic practices, though. It's a way of life, a moral system. It can even be the basis of an entire culture. Religions usually come with a community as well. A group of individuals dedicated to their lifestyle who keep each other in check and support one another. Though I'm not sure that these communities are all necessarily good. A community that keeps you dedicated to your beliefs is only a positive one if your beliefs are good. Nothing has never benefited me, but fear has always kept me in check. Until now. Nothing scares me, so fear hasn't been around to push me into the echo chamber every waking night. It's just been me clinging onto old patterns. I guess what I've wanted from nothing has been some sort of growth, a sense of confidence that could override my fear. Maybe courage. Fear is human, and courage is above fear, so courage must also be the evolutionary level above human. I no longer feel the fear, but I don't feel like I've achieved the courage I was searching for either. I've only achieved an indifference that keeps me from sensing fear. And I'm not sure if maybe that is the courage I was searching for, arriving with an underwhelming, auraless presence through a door that doesn't make any noise. I guess the door only creaks for fear, and I guess I'm left with some sort of choice. I could shut my eyes and start letting go of this unfulfilling, cold ritual, or I could take the vodka and applesauce and assume a new vessel, reach a higher plane of being. Stay woke. How much am I really losing in this wager? A few nights of sleep, maybe a sense of security. Something must be able to scare me at some point if I keep looking. I could resort to visiting haunted houses. I've only been to a couple. Maybe a horror-themed escape room. Or I could just visit some shady areas, or stand at the top of a really high place and look down, or sneak into an active crime scene or two. But these ideas are probably never going to materialize. There's no reason for me to believe anything that risky would actually make me feel the fear that I've been missing. And I'm just so tired. What's most likely going to happen is that I'll just continue to do what comes naturally to me. I'll come home every day, open the door to my room, and get ready for the long night ahead of me. I'll turn off the lights and leave the door cracked so that any creature of the dark, any bump in the night, has free rein to enter into my nightly ritual and identify themselves as my savior. I'll lie there and wait, watching for any slight movements in the empty chasm of my room, in a staring contest with the abyss that always ends in a disappointing stalemate. I'll watch the door from my cold bed, anticipating a twist of the doorknob. But the knob will not turn. The door will creak. And nothing will enter.